Happy Sunday, FlossTube. It is the last Sunday of January 2019, which means that it's time for January High Tea. The last Sunday of every month, we like to celebrate something a little bit special, something to do with your stitching. And there's really no rules, but generally, when I started this last year, I decided that it was going to be a way for me to start something new from my stash that I'd been saving, that I really wanted to start, but that I had sort of been saving it for good. But I thought, the time is now. I own these things. I really want to enjoy them now, even if I only put a few stitches in. So on the last Sunday of every month of 2018, I chose a new project, mostly from my stash. Sometimes I had to add a few things in there to fully kit the project, and I really enjoyed it. But it also gave me 12 new starts last year, as well as a couple extra other new starts that I did, for my birthday and any special occasion, anytime you wanted an excuse to start something new. And I don't have a problem with lots of whips on the go and new starts and things like that, but I also really want to get through my stash pile, and I'd like to have a few more things finished and up on my wall to enjoy. So for 2019, I'm doing things a little differently, but that's just me. You can celebrate your own high tea however you like. If you want to start something new from your stash, or if you purchased something in the last few weeks that you've just been dying to start, today's the day. For me, 2019, what I'm doing is I'm using the last Sunday of every month as the day that I would like to choose the next 3 projects that I'm going to focus on for the next month. So for January, so I'm choosing 2 large pieces. I am a lover of large scale projects. So 2 big projects and 1 medium to small project, with the hope that I should see a few more finishes this year than I did last year, which was hardly any, which was, a shame. I really would like to finish more things. So I worked on a Sampler Cove piece called Dido, a Rosewood Manor piece called Corners and Curves, and a Ginger Gerald Designs piece. It's part 1 of 5 called Stories of the North, part 1. And I've talked about these pieces on my channel. I've done them in the Friday Stitch With Me videos, and I'm going to talk a lot more about them tomorrow in my Monday Floss Tube. Have sort of a month roundup, as it were. I'm also doing, I had started with 2 knitting projects per month, but I've upped that to 3. I've upped that to 3 knitting projects, but I will not be switching knitting projects every month. I am going to continue carrying on with those projects until they're done. And I'll always have 3 knitting projects on the go. And when I finish one, I'm going to add 1 more in, because I don't have nearly as many knitting whips as I do cross stitch whips. Cross stitch seems to be my #1 passion. So for January high tea, so I'm getting ready for February 1st for the month changeover. And this morning, all month I've sort of been thinking and dreaming about what I was going to choose for February, because that's part of the fun, right? What are you going to choose? And then this morning I finally got to dig through the stash and really hone down what I wanted to start. So I've come up with my 3 new choices for February, and they are as follows. The first one is going to be my small one, and this is an ornament that I started in December during Flossmas. And I've told this story many times before. This is a recreation of the very first piece that I ever stitched as a teenager. It came in a kit that my mother purchased for me when I think I was 12. I was 11 or 12 years old, and there's no other information. It's just a very simple design. In fact, it's riddled with mistakes. So it's just a hand-drawn chart that came with the kit. We bought it at a museum that was, they had a special display on of pastimes of children in the past, and handwork being one of them. And so I've hung on to this little chart forever because, it clearly spawned a love of cross stitch. And I have stitched this, I stitched it a second time, and I ended up giving that one away. So I decided that I wanted to stitch it again for myself and keep it. The very first one I stitched I gave to my mother as a pin cushion. So this Flossmas, I started it as an ornament on some pre-finished Aida frame squares. So here's where I was back in December. This was my ornament of the day. I don't remember which day, but this was all I had done when I started it. I chose to use a Victorian Motto Sampler Shop thread from the Victorian Christmas collection that she sold last year. So I will be able to finish this easily if I'm focused on this as being my one small for the month. So my hope is that once I finish this one, I can add in another small for the month. Or I may choose to spend a little bit more focus time on my 2 large pieces. Okay, so that's piece number 1. Piece number 2 is my first large piece, and many of you probably won't recognize this one at all. I don't think I have I think I have probably only shown this one once on the channel, and very briefly, probably during May last year when I did Whip Mania. I think that was the last time I touched this, and I think I probably put in 5 stitches, if that day. So, but I love this, and I'll tell you why in a minute, why I haven't touched it. There's a reason. So this is Barbara and Cheryl design, leaflet 38, and it's called True Blue. So this is what it looks like. And I bought this based on a shop model. I believe Neil stitched this at Thread and I a few years ago now, because I've had this for a while. I believe he stitched this many years ago. This was a shop model that hung up on the wall at their shop, and it is beautiful. When it is stitched, it is stunning. It's so pretty. It's just so pretty. Now I'm going to show you the back of this chart with the thread list, because this is one of the reasons why it's so beautiful. That is the thread list. I kid you not. Pretty crazy, right? I mean, it's all DMC, but it's a ton of DMC. So, but that's not the reason why this hasn't been worked on. So, are you ready for my huge start? This is all that I have. This is all that I have done on this piece. And I literally haven't touched it since last May. And I think it had even been like 2 years since I touched it before that, because there's even a Daria hair on the top of that there. So yeah, it's about time that I got after this. Now, the reason why I haven't touched this and why I really didn't like working on this, and the reason why I've pulled it out now, is because it's on a Q-snap. This is on an 11-inch square Q-snap. I hate working on Q-snaps that are bigger than the 6-inch. I don't mind. 8-inch is pushing it, but 11-inch, yuck. And the reason why is because I really much prefer to stitch two-handed, and I find that holding such a large Q-snap in my hand while I'm stitching, it fatigues my hand very quickly. I don't find it pleasurable. I don't enjoy it at all. And so I would look at it and I'd sort of think, I really don't feel like working on that. And so I tucked it in a drawer, and it has never seen the light of day. So I recently bought myself a Lowry frame. And the sole reason I purchased that, two reasons I purchased that Lowry frame. And I'm going to go into bigger detail tomorrow about what I think about it. Spoiler alert, I really like it. I mainly bought it to use my Q-snaps on, and also for having a smaller frame footprint downstairs in the living room where the family congregates when we all hang out together. So when the Lowry came in and I've been testing it out with my Ginger Gerald piece, I thought, okay, now's the time. There are no more excuses. Now you can finally pull out that beautiful design that fits perfectly on an 11-inch square Q-snap and get to it. So that's the plan. I have to tighten the fabric in the Q-snap because it's as you can see, it's come a little loose. And yes, I've kept it on the Q-snap this entire time because this design will fit inside. I won't have to move the fabric. This grime guard was one I purchased through Kathy and Neil. I've made a few grime guards myself. They're not my favorite thing in the world to make. So I feel lucky that I have a few already made. I'm sure it's probably just practice, but again, it's one of those things when it's not my favorite thing to do, I tend to procrastinate about it a little bit. So anyways, there you go. That's project number 2, True Blue by Barbara and Cheryl. And it might be out of print. I'm not sure. I've had this for years. So maybe it's in your stash too and you'd like to pull it out and work on it with me for the month of February. True Blue. So that's project number 2. And sticking with the blue theme, project number 3, and I have been waiting for this. Project number 3 is going to be my Modern Folk Embroidery Seasons Mystery Stitch Along. So this is January is complete, February is mostly complete. And so that is going to be the big project that I keep on my floor frame upstairs and will be the next project that I work on for Friday Off the Grid, which I'm super excited about because that's February 1st and that's the first day that I'm going to start working on my next 3 projects that I'm sharing with you today. So, you know, the reason why I chose to work on this one this month was because I have been really trying hard not to be, I mean, I'm tempted, obviously. I'm human. I am really tempted by a couple of new charts that are out. And the first one of them is Modern Folk Embroidery's new mystery stitch along that Jakob has released. And if you haven't checked out his designs, www.modernfolkembroidery.com. I love his style. I love it. And I you know, he's also just a really nice person. And so, you know, that combination, I tend to be drawn to designs like that if I really like, if I've met the design, like Ginger Gerald. I want to stitch everything he's designed because he's such a nice guy and I like him. Like the windmill, that windmill. I've stitched his windmill. It's downstairs. It's in my finishing pile for the month of February. I am going to finish that into something this month. That's the plan. So, you know, when you meet somebody and you really like them and then you really like what they designed, you want to stitch it all. So his 2019 mystery stitch along has been calling my name. So in order to help put a lid on that, I thought, let's work on this one. Let's enjoy what you have. Oh, I should tell you about what I'm working on. This is a 40 count R&R Reproductions fabric called Patriot's Brew. It's a little bit washed out in this light. It's a little bit darker in real life, a little bit, just a hint. But that blue is very true to form. And I'm very sorry to say that the silk thread that I'm using for this design is discontinued. So you can ask me and I will tell you what it is because yes, it's perfect, I know. But it's a discontinued Vicky Clayton silk. Sorry, right on my stitching table here. Hand-dyed fibers. If you're lucky enough to have some of this in your stash, you are lucky indeed because it is some of the most beautiful silk I ever worked with, and I'm fortunate that I had almost enough. And then I was super fortunate that last year a viewer, and now I consider her a friend, Barbara, actually sent me another huge bobbin of it. I have 2 of these. This one is 150 yards. So I had 300 yards of a single ply. And then she sent me a bobbin of 300, no, what is it? I can't even remember how much it was. I can't remember. 300? No, 6 strands. I think this was another 100 yards. I can't remember, but I have plenty. So they're not from the same dye lot, but they're very, very, very close. And I don't think you can tell, but I've been mixing in a little bit of Barbara's thread in with mine to mix those dye lots, and you can't tell which is which. It's perfect. So I'm being very sparing with Barbara's because I'm really hoping to send her back a portion of that skein that she generously sent to me. So I'm very sorry that it's not something that you can purchase any longer. But you know what? Modern Folk Embroideries design, choose your favorite color. Choose your favorite color. Maybe it's a beautiful raspberry silk or a really beautiful variegated with lots of different colors in a hank. Silks for You sells some really gorgeous colors and in large hanks, and you know, buy one hank should do it if you're doing it on 40 count, though you may want to check your numbers. I do not take responsibility for numbers. I'm an overbuyer, so I would probably buy 2 hanks if I knew I was doing a really huge scale design, just so that I knew I'd have enough, because otherwise you run into this kind of problem where you desperately want to use something, but maybe you don't have quite enough. So it's a 40 count linen R&R reproductions with the hand-dyed fiber silk. So those are my new 3 projects that I am celebrating high tea by choosing. I said there was a second pattern that I was really tempted by. And if you haven't seen it yet, if someone buys this pattern and starts it, and I'm sure there will be lots of you, please tag me in your photos, because this is one of those patterns where the instant I saw it, I thought, oh, that is just, that's me. That is so me. It is Long Dog Sampler's newest design called the Game of Swans. And it's stunning. It is stunning. Stunning! I don't have enough stunnings to fit in there because it's absolutely beautiful. Long Dog Sampler Game of Swans. But I am really trying, because I adore these huge scale projects, and I have hoity-toity. I have Death by Cross Stitch started. I have my Modern Folk Embroidery piece started. I have got so many large scale projects started. I just can't buy every one that I see that I want to do, because otherwise I will never finish these. So I am this year focusing on being grateful for what I have, stitching what I have. So today, Sunday high tea for January, I am celebrating the fact that I did not purchase those 2 patterns, and I'm going to enjoy February stitching the beautiful things that I already own. There you go. So those are my plans. I can't wait to hear your plans. We have to do a giveaway today. So at the end of December, Sunday high tea, the giveaway was a Lizzie Kate Giggle. No, I'm sorry. I always get this wrong. It was a Lizzie Kate boxer. And I offered a choice between 2 boxers. One of them was an Inspiration boxer, this one here. And the second choice was the Boxer Junior Pie. And before I started this video, I used the YouTube random comment picker, and I did what you're supposed to do, and it chose the random comment for me, and the winner was so congratulations, Cheryl. And you know, Cheryl, I recognize Cheryl's name because Cheryl won one of the very first giveaways that I ever did on this channel back when I first started doing giveaways, and I think it was during Vlogmas Christmas last year, 2017, and I think Cheryl may have won a bag. So lucky Cheryl, a year later, has won another prize from me. So you never know. Keep entering these giveaways if you like the prize, and you never know, you might be lucky and win. So Cheryl, congratulations. I don't think I still have your address, so if you could please contact me, I will get this in the mail for you. Okay, that leads me to the new giveaway for January high tea. I rotate the giveaways. Last month, the giveaway was on here on YouTube. I think that means that we are now back to Instagram, the Instagram giveaway on Evertotes. I'm going to double check that. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, it's on the Facebook group, Friday Off the Grid. I'm going to edit in below my face right here where my finger is pointing where the giveaway is going to happen. It's either going to be on Instagram at Evertotes or on the Facebook Friday Off the Grid group. I'm going to double check that and I'll post it. So the giveaway for this month is, I'm just going to take it out of the envelope here. Okay, so I thought maybe not everybody loves snow as much as I do, and maybe some of you are getting ready for thoughts of spring. So I have a scissor tail designs. I've given away a few scissor tail designs. I love their patterns. This is a 3-part stitch along, and this giveaway includes all 3 parts, and it's called A Burst of Spring. So this was the very first part that came out, and this was March, and March gave the first block and then the border to be stitched. The next design that came out was April, and it looks like that. And then we fast forward to May with the completion of the design. You ready? And it looks like that when it is complete. So this giveaway is for all 3 of these charts and an Evertote Notions pouch and matching fabric needle minder. I'll tuck those in as well with these charts. They're beautiful. I actually have a few of these sets. I'm tempted to keep one myself and stitch it because it's so pretty. Look at, I'll show you the finished one again. There. Isn't that pretty? You could do that in any color that you want. So again, that's a scissor tail designs. And I love their little logo. I think that's really pretty. Okay, so there we go. Okay, that is it for Sunday High Tea. I am going to wrap this video up now and head back downstairs. My father is here today. My father is here today to help us with our furnace. And that is a long story that I will tell you about tomorrow on Monday Floss Tube. I'll keep it short though, don't worry. I promise, I'll try. I will try to keep it short. I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoy your Sunday, and I really hope that you dig into your stash and you pull out something that you love, and today you enjoy it. Happy Sunday, happy high tea, happy stitching, and I'll see you tomorrow for Monday Floss Tube. Take care.